lads, welcome back to the channel. Today we're back with another Championships predictions review video and just going over what happened in the last game week. It was of course the games on the weekend this time, and I did do better than last week. Obviously last week I got 0, this week I got 2, as yep you can see up there probably. Basically, yeah, I did better than last week, which is good, which is probably not that hard. I mean, I only had to get one right. So basically, let's just get straight into reviewing the games and see who did well and who did not. On to the first game now, and as you can probably tell, it's a bit dark in the background. I went to have tea and I've come back and to record all the reviewing the games. But anyway, let's just get straight into the first game, and it was on Friday night at the John Smith Stadium, and it was between Huddersfield and Luton Town. Sonny Bradley opened the scoring for Luton after 49 minutes, and then Elliot Lee gave them a second goal and the final goal of the game, which won them the game 2-0, which is a huge 3 points for them in terms of trying to stay in the Championship. For this one, I predicted a 1-0 away win for Luton. Got quite close, but just couldn't get close enough, I guess. And Luton performed well in this one and probably did deserve the 3 points. And as I said just before, it is a huge 3 points for them. Alright then, second game of this game week, and it was Craven Cottage between Fulham and Cardiff. This is one of the games I got correct, one of the two that I did get correct, as it finished 2-0 to Fulham, and that's what I predicted. Fulham opened the scoring in the 31st minute through Alexander Mitrovic, scoring from the penalty spot, and then Josh Onomar doubled their lead in the 66th minute, giving them the 3 points. This is a huge 3 points for them as they strengthen their hold on their playoff spot and push Cardiff to closer to maybe not getting into the playoffs. So that's a big loss this for Cardiff against promotion rivals Fulham. Third game of the game week, and it took place at the Valley between Charlton and Reading. For this one I predicted a 0-0 draw. I thought it was going to be a bit of a boring game, but my prediction was out the window within 3 minutes as George Puskás took away a penalty for Reading, and my thoughts of it being quite a boring game were basically right after the 3rd minute, as nothing else really happened in this game, and the penalty from Puskás in the 3rd minute was the only goal of the game. But this was quite significant because this pushes Charlton towards that relegation fight and could push them deeper into it, as it is getting really tight down at the bottom of the table at the minute. Moving on to the next game, and is this the 4th game of the game week? I think it is, and it was at Pride Park between Derby and Brentford. This was one of the other ones that I got correct. The other one that I got correct, as it finished a 3-1 away win for Brentford, and I'm pretty sure that's what I predicted. Brentford took the lead after 3 minutes through Ollie Watkins, but then that was cancelled out on 29 minutes through Jason Knight for Derby County. But then a side Ben Roma masterclass in the second half won Brentford the game. He scored twice in the second half, goals on 49 minutes and 64 minutes, as this basically consolidates Brentford's spot in the playoffs. And well, I don't think they're trying to consolidate the space in the playoffs. I think they're trying to push for the top 2, and I think they can because they're just heaping on the pressure on West Brom. And if West Brom drop points at any point, then Brentford could be in there like a flash. The next game was probably the most boring one of the game week, and it took place at Oakwell, and it was between relegation threatening Barnsley and Wigan, who could be threatened by relegation if the points deduction does go against them. The only thing that really happened in this game was Daniel Fox getting sent off. He got sent off in 71 minutes, and I think that there was nothing else in the game yet. Maybe Barnsley could have gone on to win it when Wigan were down to 10 men, but on Wigan's point of view, I think since they went into administration, I think that's really rocked the whole club, and they've not really replicated the form, that they were on before they went into administration, as they were winning games 3-0 by 3 goals, comfortably winning the games, and now I know they won 1-0 last week, but that's not a bigger margin as they have done, and if they're only on the form before administration, they'd have absolutely probably hammered a side like Barnsley, as I predicted a 2-0 away win for Wigan. And had they been on the form, they'd have probably replicated that. Next game was another big game with regards to the promotion race. It was between Blackburn and West Brom at Aylwood Park, obviously. For this one, I predicted a 2-1 away win for West Brom, and I got close as the game ended, finishing as a 1-1 draw. West Brom took the lead and flew through Philip Krovinovic, is that how you say it? West Brom fans, correct me if I'm wrong, on the 41st minute. But then that was cancelled out in the second half through Joe Rothwell in the 63rd minute, equalising. The reason this is a big game in the promotion race, as it is, West Brom have dropped points and Brentford obviously won their game 3-1 away to Derby, so they've gained points on West Brom and closing that gap, hopefully trying to get into the automatic places. West Brom are now only 3 points clear of Brentford, so they can't really afford another slip-up. On to another game that I got wrong, which is the rest of them at the minute, and it was another quite boring game as well, as it was Hull against Millwall at the KCOM Stadium, and this, as I said, ended up finishing a 1-0 away win for Millwall. I predicted a 1-1 draw, but I got that wrong, obviously, as Millwall came through and won 1-0. Ryan Leonard scored their winning goal after just 2 minutes, and like the Reading game, it was pretty boring from the first 5 minutes, as in both those games there was the winning goal was scored early as nothing else really happened. Hull obviously were trying to push for an equaliser, and if they did, then my prediction would have been correct, but they couldn't find the equaliser, so yeah, my prediction wasn't correct. And again, they're a team down in the relegation zones, and losing this game could prove costly in their season. Next game took place at the Riverside Stadium, and it was Neil Warnock's first game in charge for Middlesbrough, I think it was. I'm not sure, to be honest. But this one did not go well for Neil Warnock and Middlesbrough, as they ended up losing 3-1 against Bristol City, who've really found their form since the sacking of Lee Johnson. I predicted a 1-1 draw for this one, so I thought both sides similar form. Maybe Middlesbrough could get a draw, but in the end they didn't. They ended up losing this one 3-1. Bristol took the lead after 6 minutes through Nahki Wells, and then Jamie Patterson doubled their lead on 42 minutes. Late into the second half, Nahki Wells secured the 3 points for them, scoring on 79 minutes, and then Britta Sombolonga scored for Middlesbrough, gaining them a consolation goal. Next game is between Preston and Forest at Deepdale. For this one, I predicted a 2-1 away win for Forest, and this is like a lot of games in this game week. I was close, but not quite there. I predicted a 2-1 win for Forest, as I just said, and this one ended up finishing as a 1-1 draw. Forest took the lead after 5 minutes through Lewis Graben, but then that was cancelled out just 10 minutes later through Jaden Stockley, giving them the equaliser, and ultimately earning them a hard-earned point, and Forest, again, it's a point towards their promotion push, and I think they will get playoffs, and maybe they've got a good chance of going up. Next game, we took place at the Keane Price Foundation Stadium, and it's between QPR and My Team Wednesday, and you probably guessed that I'm pretty gassed to talk about this one, as this was a great performance from us. I predicted a 2-1 home win for QPR, as we had lost our last 3 and we were on pretty terrible form, as we just couldn't finish our chances. But we ended up winning this one 3-0, which I just can't believe. Took the lead from in the 5th minute from Iorfa. He scored an absolute peach. I found that, it's just me who found that really satisfying all the way. It's nestled in the corner. Anyway, moving on to the next goal from Josh Windass just before half-time. Corner whipped in by De Cruz. Another great corner, and then Windass at the back post just managed to nod it in. And then the last goal was probably the best goal of them all, as Murphy, late in the second half, managed to pick the ball up. He'd come up on front for De Cruz, I think it was, and he just managed to lash onto a long ball, and then he just controlled it and just curled it sweetly into the top corner. So big 3 points for us, as maybe it will give us a bit of form now, and we might go on a little bit of a run in the last 3 games of the season. Moving on to the first of the 2 games on Sunday. This one took place at the Bet365 Stadium between Stoke and Birmingham. And for this one, Stoke picked up a huge 3 points in terms of trying to stay in the Championship. I predicted a 1-1 draw for this one, but I didn't get it right, as Stoke came through and won 2-0. As I said, a big 3 points for them. Took lead on the 12th minute through Danny Bath, and then Sam Clucas got their second goal just before half-time, which really just knocked the stuffing out of Birmingham, as goals before half-times are just so crucial in games, as it means they're just more ahead by the break, and just before the break goals are just so crucial. It just affects the flow of the game, and it really did affect the flow in the game, as Birmingham just couldn't come back in this one. And again, like I said, I've said a couple of times, this was a huge 3 points for Stoke in their bid to try and get out of the relegation spots they are in. On to the final game of the game week. It took place at Liberty Stadium between Swansea and Leeds, and this game was another huge game in the the promotion race, sorry. I predicted a 3-1 away win for Leeds in this one, But I'd got the result correct, but not the prediction correct and the scoreline, as Leeds ended up winning this one 1-0. But the key part of this is they won it late on through Pablo Hernandez. I almost said Abel Hernandez there. He scored in the 89th minute to win the game for Leeds. And this is just a huge 3 points for them, as I'm pretty sure they can win the title next week against when they play Barnsley or something like that. They can secure promotion though. And again, they've just shown great characters to score this goal late on, and probably, as much as I hate to say this, they probably do deserve to go up. To the hard and tough part of the video, where I go through the Champions League table and read it out for you, and it's actually quite hard because there's a lot of teams and a lot of points to read out, which gets me out of breath. So we may as well just get straight into it. First place is Leeds on 84, second West Brom on 81, third Brentford on 78, fourth Fulham on 76. Fifth is Forest on 69. Sixth is Cardiff on 64. Seventh is Swansea on 63. Eighth is Preston on 62. Ninth is Millwall on 62. 10th is Derby 61. 11th Bristol 61. Also level on points with Derby. 12th is Blackburn on 60. 13th is Reading on 56. 14th Wednesday on 55. 15th Wigan on 54. 16th is QPR on 53. 17th Stoke on 49. 18th Birmingham on 49. 19th is Middlesbrough on 47. 20th is Huddersfield on 47. 21st is Charlton on 46. And then to relegation spaces. 22nd is Hull on 45. 23rd is Luton on 44, who have jumped frog Barnsley, who are now in 24th place on 43. But bottom is just 3 points behind Charlton, who are on 21st on 46. So if Charlton lose and Barnsley win, then it's the whole table down at the bottom. It's just so tight and could be changed in a matter of seconds. But the major talking point, I think, is that Leeds can go up and secure promotion in the next game week when they play Barnsley. And basically, if they don't lose in that game, they have secured promotion, which is a huge achievement on their behalf. They've been trying to do it for years, and they keep bottling it, and they've earned a reputation as bottle jobs for that. But I think this year they're not going to bottle it, unfortunately, for the rest of the league, so we can't laugh at them anymore. But I guess they deserve it. Like a Hellcat.